The sated day is never first. The best day is a day of thirst. Yes, there is a goal, a meaning in our path, but it's the way that is the labor's worth. The best goal is a night-long rest, fire lit and bread broken in haste. In places where one sleeps but once, sleep is secure, dreams full of song. Strike camp, the new day shows its light. Our great adventure has no end in sight. This is a poem written by Karin Boye. Karin Boye, Swedish author, one of the large names of Swedish literature, perhaps not very well known to people outside of Sweden, but here in Sweden it is one of the biggest names and one of the cult persons of a cultural life in Sweden. Karin Boye has written poems, and she also wrote a couple of novels. Both her poetry and her prosa is translated in several languages, among others, of course, English. She died on 24th of April 1941. So yesterday it was 80 years since she died, and that's why I'm doing this video as a tribute to her. She was only 40 years old when she died. Karin Boye is born in 1900 in Gothenburg. She came from affluent family, and back then it was very unusual for girls, for children in general, to go to school more than 6 years, and for girls in particular. Her family was affluent, so they let her go to school throughout the elementary school, high school, and then finally to the university. She was very good in school. Coming to university in Uppsala, she was one of the very few female students. Back then it was about 10% of student body was female students, and they were not very well received, because a woman really shouldn't study. A woman should give a birth to children, or she should stay at home anyways and not take work from a man. That was the basically sentiment of the time, and so women were not very welcome. Karin Boye, she didn't care very much about that. She studied in Uppsala. She studied literature and Greek, and already during her university time she started writing poetry, lots of poems. Already as a student she became popular around Sweden. She was published she published several poetry collections. I have here book in Swedish called Samlade dikter, collected poems, and on the back of this book is one photo of her, Karin Boye. She was not very tall. She was dark-haired, very, very un-Swedish at the time. Swedish people have a quite light complexion, and she was very, very determined. She had lot of issues with that time's cultural life, about the standards of the society she was living in, how women were treated and what was expected by women, and also how people of different sexual orientation than a norm, i.e. Homosexuals, were treated. She was homosexual herself, albeit in secrecy, because back then in Sweden homosexuality was a crime. It was written in Swedish law actually to have a sex with people of the same gender and animals was forbidden. So they put together homosexuality and having sex with animals in the same text. She had several crushes, but struggled very much with her inner feelings. And about this period in her life, she wrote a novel that is called The Crisis, which is one of her most well-known works, and it is one of the most known Swedish experimental novels. She was writing in at that time a very unusual style. She continued writing both novels and poetry. Eventually, she got married to a man. Very unhappy marriage, so to say. They had a really good relationship as friends, but there was no romantic love, obviously. After a certain period of time, she left for Berlin. In Berlin, she lived more freely, because during the time of Weimar Republic, although homosexuality was also forbidden, it was widely tolerated. So as a homosexual, you could live normal life. But now we are in the beginning of 30s, and in the beginning of 30s, Nazis are taking power, and it becomes less and less tolerant. And this the growth of the totalitarian state in Germany comes. She studies this, observes this very intensely, and she also gets together with the girl, quite a lot younger than her. I think she was at this point of time 31 years old. The girl was named Margot. Her name, she was 18 years old, and she was Jewish. They got together, and you can imagine if Margot, being Jewish and being homosexual, and also having socialistic ideas. She was not really in a good position in Germany. Karin left Germany, went back to Sweden, and after a while, Margot followed to Sweden to hide from Nazi oppression. So Karin observed this, growth of Nazis from very close distance. She saw how the totalitarian state was growing. Before she went to Germany, she participated in a cultural life in Stockholm that was in many places had a clear political orientation, socialistic orientation, to a certain extent even communist, and they were very much fascinated and interested about Soviet Union and developments in Soviet Union. So as a part of that engagement, Karin joined in on a trip to Soviet Union where she visited, and although the Moscow of that time was staged for the guests from Scandinavia to see the best of Soviet Union, it was very clear what horror people lived through there, and what kind of totalitarian state this is. So when she came back from Germany, she had actually two references to see, Soviet Union, the totalitarian state growing there, and then Nazi Germany, another totalitarian state growing there. Both of them very much engaged in gaining full control over their citizens, getting surveillance in place and terrorizing everybody that was not in line with how the ones that are governing the state think about things and their worldview. So this prompted her to think about the dark future that the world is going towards, and this was also an embryo to her finest and the most well-known work, which is this book, It's a novel called Karin. It was published 1940, just 1 year before her death, and it was actually her last work. So Karin is also translated widely. I think there's a in Penguin Classics edition, Black Spine edition. I think that there is this book as well. This is the name of the book is Kain, and it has a subtitle, a novel from 21st century. This is a dystopian novel about the society in the future where everybody is living in two massive empires. One is called world state, and second is called universal state. And these two are in a kind of a Cold War situation, and both of them are surveilling their citizens, and people are living in terror, living like robots. The ones who are loyal, they are basically loyal and living like loyal soldiers, and the one that are not, they are taken away. And in the attempt actually to get the better control over their citizens, chemical scientists in the world state, they develop a serum, truth serum, and the chemist that develops this, his name is Leocal, and this serum is Kain is called. It carries his name. So the idea with this serum is that they would, if you are suspect, they would catch you, they would give you a serum, and then it would tell them everything that you are actually preparing against the state. So it's a kind of counter-terrorism thing. But what happens there is that this truth serum goes deeply into soul of the people, and everybody starts talking about their most inner dreams about freedom. And when this book came out, it was a sensation. It was written in a way that was pretty unusual, in experimental way, and also it was treating a theme that was highly how you say actual at that point of time. George Orwell didn't yet write 1984. Aldous Huxley did publish already Brave New World on a similar theme, but this is more a kind of a 1984 work than a Brave New World, if we are to compare the themes. So this is her last work. She grew more and more depressed at the end of her life, very discontented about the state of the world, about how she is treated as a woman and as a homosexual, when she was away taking care of a friend that was sick, that was ill in cancer, she was really bad shape mentally, and one night she wrote a letter and left the house of her friend with one bottle of water and tranquilizers. She went to the forest and fell asleep and died. She committed suicide, 40 years old. And this is a tragic story of a great artist, a great name of Swedish literature. There is a biography that is published. It's published in Swedish, unfortunately, only. Is this one? It's called Den nya dagen gryr, Dawn of a New Day. Quite chunkster. I bought this one to my wife Mia. I didn't read it myself yet, but it is pretty rich with the content about her life and lots of photographs. So I'm really looking forward to read this one. So before we end this video, I would like to read another poem of Karin Boye, arguably the most well-known of her poems. I will try to find it here also in Swedish, so you can hear how it sounds in Swedish. Let me see. Sounds like this. Ja, visst gör det ont när knoppar brister. Varför skulle annars våren tveka? Varför skulle all vår heta längtan bindas i det frusna, bitterbleka? In English, better for you to understand. Of course it hurts when buds burst. Otherwise, why would spring hesitate? Why would all our fervent longing be bound in the frozen bitter haze? The bud was the casing all winter. What is this new thing which consumes and bursts? Of course it hurts when buds burst. Pain for that which grows and for that which envelopes. Of course it is hard when drops fall. Trembling with fear, they hang heavy, clamber on the branch, swell and slide. The weight pulls them down. How they cling. Hard to be uncertain, afraid and divided, hard to feel the deep pulling and calling, yet sit there and just quiver. Hard to want to stay and to want to fall. Then, at the point of agony and when all is beyond help, the tree its buds burst as if in jubilation. Then, when fear no longer exists, the branch drops tumble in a shimmer, forgetting that they were afraid of the new, forgetting that they were fearful of the journey, feeling for a second the greatest security, resting in the trust that creates the world. So, Karin Boye, that is. And I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got interested in Karin Boye. As I said, you can find a lot of her writing, both poetry and novels in English. So enjoy, and until next time, take care.